All right. I'm working remote today at my wife's office at UVA, and I'm hoping that I've got decent internet connection. I've got like 1 bar on my data um, uh, link, so we'll see how this goes. But wanted to check in with you all to see how things are going with MAAP and just see if y'all had questions. I know that I wanted to give folks an option that if they hadn't been doing it for a while, they could check in and see how to pop back in. Or just if there's frustrations that you had, you could let me know and we could talk.
Okay. Well, I wrote some comments down. You know
Hey,
me.
awesome, Kathy.
Okay, first of all, this Southwest Yard, a lot of these folders have lots and lots of text fields. I mean, more so
Hmm.
than other. You know, usually I can do a card in 15 minutes, and yesterday it took me 30 minutes to do one card.
Hmm.
So it's a little on the not frustrating side. It's just that, in fact, I finally had a card that I could not put all the text on. There's no room in notes. There's no room in any of the other fields. So that was the first time that I couldn't squeeze it all in somewhere. But just to,
Hmm.
people are dealing with it. So that's one thing that's kind of odd about this. The other one is trying to figure out what the stratum looks like on some of the drawings is like guesswork at best. They're so faint in some
Hmm.
of the illustrations, and they're full of all other kinds of things that I don't know. It's not a good folder.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay.
But
Is it?
no, it's just that it slows you down. It
Yeah.
really, it does slow slow you down, figure out some of the things because they're putting a lot of other things in the stratum, like rocks and things like that. So sometimes you can't quite determine if this is more. So that's that. And I just had one question about the spreadsheet.
Hmm.
Um, do we need to duplicate concerns that we had from when we did the relabeling and on the spreadsheet for when we do if they're the same issues that we had when we relabeled them, do you want them duplicated in as notes?
No, you don't have to. They'll be taken care of.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. That's all my griping.
Okay. Is it the 2014? Because there's two different seasons. There's 2014 and 2018. Do you notice it in more than
I'm
one?
I'm still in 2014. I haven't
Okay.
encountered, I don't think, a 2018 yet.
Hmm.
But
And I started from the other end and I've had 2018 where I can't fit everything on. So maybe the question is, do you want us to paraphrase stuff or do we
oh,
just say, see the card
I'd say see the
if we
card.
can't fit it in?
Yeah, if
oh,
you
okay,
can't fit it in,
okay,
yeah, thanks, Beth. Say see the card.
okay.
Because it's
That's
going to be there. It's going to be linked in the NGIS. And so people would know just to go and look at that.
okay. Yeah, that's good because you can chop off some of the text and just put that in as
Hmm.
when you run out. Most of the
Yeah.
time you can make it, but
Hmm.
Yeah, I've been I've been encountering some 2017 cards, and
17.
so I'm wondering, and then of course when I make the drawing, I choose that card, to go along with it, as opposed to the 2014 card. You can select 2014 or 2017 when before you do the drawing to.
Oh, yeah.
When you're doing a drawing, you have to make a selection
Hmm.
of which of the cards. So I picked the appropriate one, 2014 or 2017, according to what the date on the excavation date on the card. I'm not sure that I don't know if it's remembering that if I go in and do part of it, part of that card, and then save that and then go back to it the next day. I'm
Hmm.
not sure it's going back into the 2017 card. Maybe it is. I'm just not sure.
It, it
So I don't
is.
know what it's doing from that standpoint.
Yeah, the 2014 and the 2018 all save it to the same file. It's just a different form. So it's all the
Mhm.
same file. So I could make a 2017 layer or like form, and it would save it all into the same file. It's all the mansion stratum form bunker. So
Yeah,
like the stuff you all did with the front yard and with the northwest yard, it's all in the same file, all the same
okay,
GIS. It's just a different
okay,
form.
yeah,
Now I
all
have
right.
to look. I didn't realize there was 2017 cards in there, and that's fine. I'd have to look and
I
see whether
believe, yeah, I believe so, yeah.
oh, I believe you. I believe you.
I can give you a number of one if you want to look at it, but I'd have
Yeah,
to run. Yep.
it would depend on whether or not that card is similar to 2018 or 2014. It just makes it easier.
Yeah, let me just check that.
Okay. And how do you all normally do it? Do you all print the card out, or do you just have it on your screen?
I
Just
copy
have it on the screen.
PDF. I make the whole file PDF copies of each one a card on my screen or in file, so I can go to that back and forth and then save it.
Okay. Do you have two screens, Kathy, or how do you do it?
No. Well, I think it fit on one screen. You know, you squeeze down the card. I can put the card and the form on one screen. I have a big Mac, so you
Oh,
can.
yeah, that's
So,
nice.
but I just download them as I go through. Actually, I usually download them when I go through relabel, and that's why I always take ones that I have relabeled because I'm already building up
Ah,
a
mhm,
pile of information that I don't have to duplicate when I go back and do the digitizing.
nice.
So,
Okay,
yeah,
that sounds
yeah,
good.
yeah. So,
So anyway, MT 1989 has a 2017 card in it for stratum D, for example. I
Mhm.
mean, I'm finding a number of these. I mean, it clearly says the excavation date is 2017 on them, not 2018. So,
Oh, yeah.
I don't, yeah. So, but I think but Matt, what you're saying is quite clear that it is really going into the same form. It's just the order is a little different
Yeah, I did
or
not
something.
make a form for 2017, but I'm sure that 2000. I'd have to look and see what it's more similar
I
to.
thought it said two. I thought it. That's
Yeah,
I
it
could
says
be wrong.
2017. There isn't one for 2018. I just
Okay.
assumed
Yes,
it was the
that's
same as
consistent with what I'm
2017.
seeing.
Yeah, 2017 and 2018 should be the same then. If I made it for 2017,
Yeah.
like it
So
should be the
I mean,
same,
it's the
pretty much the
same
same
card.
form, same card. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but
So
the
it
probably both forms will work.
doesn't
Yeah.
matter. Yeah.
Okay.
I have a question about, I don't know if there's any at the front end like this, but I've been working from the back end. And there can be 4 units, but then in the
Mhm.
center of them, there's labeled another unit, and that will have a whole separate set of strata and cards. What is the underlying reason why all that was done? Because I've run across several of them like that.
Yeah, that's what we call a feature unit. So if we open up a 5x5 and then we find a feature that runs both in that unit and to the north, we'll open up a new unit that's large enough to encapsulate that entire feature. So some of the planning holes that were like 8 feet by 9 feet, that would be a 10 by 10 unit. And that would be a new unit that would be laid out because it covers more than one 5x5. And it made it easier to understand, where the unit was later on, because we used to try to keep it in the 5x5 and label the northeast 5x5, and it just got really confusing. So that's what it's called, a feature unit. Does that make sense,
Okay.
Beth?
Yeah, so each of the 4 units have their own set of cards that you have to
Mhm.
digitize.
Mhm.
And then that one in the center has another set of cards that you digitize. That's the way I've been doing it.
Yeah,
Is that
exactly. It's a
correct?
whole new unit.
Okay.
And basically the 5x5, we use the 5x5 units for the initial exploration, like taking down the topsoil and getting down to subsoil where features are. And then usually when you come across a feature, it's never in the 5x5. It's never contained within that 5x5. It's always a post hole. The worst was the front yard, where we had a post hole that was under the bulk. And so we had to open up, another whole nother unit, because it was in like 4 different units, this little post hole about that big. So I think that when I got frustrated, and we just opened up a 2.5 by 2.5 right in the middle of the whole damn thing. So worst is a post hole that you just want to open up one 5x5, and the post hole is in there, like in the corner, and you have to open up 3 other units. So that's why in that case we just opened up a 2.5 by 2.5, and just was like, someone in the future will hate us because we're not keeping to the 5x5 system. But what else have you all encountered? Pete, have you been able to get back into it?
Not really, but I think I will soon. My wife has cancer, and so she's been
I'm
in
sorry,
and out of
Pete.
hospital, but hopefully those complications are past, and then it'll be good to have this to get away to for a couple hours.
Yeah. Is she back at home?
Yeah.
Oh, that's good. And things are looking good? Or
Well, she had 1 chemo, and then they found an infection, so they won't do another chemo until that's been put down. So sliding that may or may not be a bad thing, I guess.
yeah, always a process. We'll be thinking of you, Pete, and your wife.
All right. Thanks. Yeah, I did rewatch your tutorial there, because I have forgotten most of this now. But
Okay.
after Christmas, I expect I'll get back and put in an hour here and there.
Okay. Yeah, there's still plenty of units in the southwest yard. It's a big area. And Carol, have you started at all?
I have not. I have watched most of the tutorial. I have to get back and watch it again. I'm just about done with my final paper for my first semester of grad school. So
Okay, awesome.
once that's done, I'll have a break in time, and I'm super curious to get into this. So
Okay.
I'm just kind of lurking here, listening to
Yeah,
what other people are up to.
That's perfect. Yeah, it was and I know that folks have things going on in their lives and can sometimes take part in it, sometimes can't, and wanted to have this be a place for people to check in and see what was happening, and just see everybody that's involved. Dean and Beth and Kathy have been pretty heavy hitters for the past 4 years.
Sounds like it. Yeah.
Almost 4
Yes, since COVID. So yeah.
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 Generally speaking, I think things have been working quite well. I mean, I haven't had any glitchy sort of issues or anything. I don't know. It's just, and I'm glad that you clarified about how to digitize the wording within any particular card. In other words, try to keep it as authentic or as close to the original card, so that it really reflects all kinds, lots of aspects of that. I mean, you said it better than I'm saying it now, but
it's basically an archival process where
you don't want to be, we don't want to be, or I don't want to be changing the meaning of something that could be quite subtle, and maybe I don't realize it. So even things like spelling mistakes, I guess, that may be, unless, well, I mean, there are always a few exceptions here and there, but so keeping it as close to the idea is to keep it as close to the original, to reflect what the original writer or excavator or recorder of the excavation, what
Mhm.
that person had in mind.
Yeah. And if you do
Yeah,
run out of room, you know, it's good. I like either you said it or Kathy or Beth said it, is just to put C card, because that, you know, it's all there. It's, and the important thing is that people have access to it.
I was just gonna say, I agree with Dean. I think things are going pretty well. It's just intimidating at the volume of units that are in the Southwest Yard. I think Kathy said that too. There's just a lot there, so it's gonna take a while to get it all done.
Yeah, I thought about that. I was thinking about dividing it by season, but then there's so much overlap between the two. And also, we had this with the two in the front yard, we had the 2005, 2000, and 2006 season, or the same location. And there were units that were opened up in both years, and separating it became really confusing. And so I just decided not to do that. I wanted to have all the units, you know, be in the same folder, no matter what year they were. And the fence,
Yeah.
there's one project called the fence line that you all get to probably next. And that one has like 5 seasons.
Oh,
And
wow.
it was the duplex, then it was the fence line, and then it was the southeast duplex, and then it was the fence line again. And I think some of them might be in the southwest yard, the fence line ones. There's a few that wandered in there that season. Because the 2014 season for the Southwest Yard really was it was a large area. We basically did a phase 2 of the Grove, of the garden, the area right in front of the garden, in parts of the South Yard. There was a whole bunch of units we opened up. And then in 2017 and 18, the Southwest Yard was focused on the Grove itself and the stony rubble area. You know, I'm sure these names are all familiar. Hmm.
Do we know about what percent of the Southwest Yard we have completed so far? I mean,
I was looking at
roughly.
it. I think it's about 50%.
Oh, really? Well, that's
Actually, let me see. I've got this hooked onto my hard drive, and I can tell. Let's see, field records, unit records, or 249 IMLS, and Southwest Yard. Oh boy, it's taking a while to open up. I don't know why it's so fussy. Yeah, I'll have to. I'll do a count on these, and I'll let you know. It's probably going to kill the Zoom connection how slow it is.
yeah. Well, that's okay. It just I mean, we can. I guess we can figure that out too. I would just if I just look at the whole thing, you can see how many are green and just get an idea from that.
Oh
Is
yeah,
that what you're
yeah.
trying to do?
I was looking in the Google Drive, but you're right. You can look at the map.
If you
and
just look at the
see-
map, and if you
Mhm.
can get the whole area on the map and look for the green, and just get a rough idea of how much of it is green.
Let's see. Yeah, it's still, you know, for what's been digitized, it's probably no, it's more like a quarter is done, a quarter
Yeah.
to a third.
Yeah.
So so a good ways to go, and there's a lot of data in those units. So
Yeah, some of those people really like to write a lot.
Yeah, I
three
don't know.
buildings.
Yeah, it was definitely there was some strata that were pretty complicated, and there was um relationships that were probably being described between units, and also depends on the crew as well. Some people are very
Mhm.
verbose in what they want to write.
Yeah, a lot of these units have so many strata. I mean, it's just like, it's not just four, maybe, it could be more like 8 or 10 that you have to go through. So on top, that slows you down too. It's nice when you say, oh, well, there's only A, B, and C, but then I'm working on one that goes to B, P, I think, and plus the
Yeah.
next C, so it's slow. It's slower than other places.
In the Grove, there are some incredibly deep units. I mean, there's at least, in some cases, 3 occupation horizons. You had the 1840s destruction of the South Yard. You had rubble from the 1808 construction episode of the wings. And then below that, you had a 1770s trash deposit. And below that is the features that are potentially from the 1750 house. So it's some of those complex stratigraphy at Montpelier, like the South Yard, is all retirement era in the South Yard. But the Southwest Yard contains both 18th and 19th century strata. So yeah, there's a lot there.
Mhm.
I have a question, Steve Odris.
Yeah. Hi,
I was
Steve.
looking at one of the units, and it's 2051, and it actually doesn't say Southwest Yard. It says garden entrance. So do we use that? Do we enter that?
Yeah, that would be the under project. Under project, put garden entrance. And
Okay,
yeah, Steve, that's an example of the from the 2014 season. We were excavating units over a broad area. And so that project encompassed more than technically the Southwest Yard. It included the garden entrance and the South Yard and the Southwest Yard. So yeah.
And someone before mentioned where there's, I guess, units within other units. So like on the map, 2565, 2562, they're all in a square, and then right in the center of those 4, there's another square. So how do you enter that?
Yeah, let me see if I can share screens. Let me see what I've got for my data here. I've got 1 bar. Let me see what happens when I share screens. I was worried about doing this, but we'll see what happens. So, and and I'm going to go to get to ArcGIS online. This is the old North Kitchen. So let me sign in and get to the Southwest Yard. I think that one's called the Southwest Yard. Normally I'd go in through one of the manuals, but that was not coming up for me. Here we go, web map 2014, 2017. And you said 2565, Steve?
Yes.
So let's see. I think this is one of these feature units like Beth had asked about.
Right. There,
There it is.
right. You're right.
2565.
It's actually right there.
Yeah. So this one, 2565. Okay, this is
See,
unit
there's
67.
right. That was a question I had. It has 67 in the middle. So what?
Yeah, that is
I-
actually an older unit from the 1990s. And I don't think I have unit 67 in the records. So I would be curious, MT2565. I would be curious to see whether MT2562, oops, 2565. Let's see if when that one was excavated, if that one showed up. That's paperwork. This one is Southwest Yard. And oh, this is the well house. Yeah. So this unit right here, this is the old MT65 right here. So it's excavated down to subsoil. That's the old unit from the 1990s that was dug out. And so this bulk right here is right in the middle of MT65. So, or 67. And the well house is right here. That's where the well house is. I should have put the buildings in here. That would have been a help to have the buildings on this map. But in this case, this is one of the old units that's there. Oh, and yeah, here's the mansion well house. It's on there. So here's the mansion well house. And this this MT67 was right against the well house. And MT2565, the part that was excavated was just this one right here. So in this unit right here, this is turned at a 90-degree angle. This is what was excavated in MT2565 because the rest of the unit was an old unit, MT65 that had already, or 67 that had already been excavated. Does that make sense, Steve?
Yes. But would you digitize 2565 and 2562, you know, like all the units around 67? I didn't know how you would handle that.
Yeah,
And have,
for 2565, I see what you mean now. Like looking at this, this is the only part, like this is 2565 right here. Here are the nails for it. This is the northeast corner. Here's the northeast corner is right here. Northwest is right here. Southwest is right here. And the only part that was excavated is this part right here. So for stratum D, what you would do on the map for that is basically go to edit, and we would add in, let's see, this is from 2018. So we'd use the 2017 form right here, and then put in D
Mhm.
right there. And then you could start putting in all the information on it right there.
okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes. Yep. Okay.
Okay. Yeah, well, glad you're on this, Steve. I had gotten the email from you yesterday.
And another thing, you mentioned that I'm not putting my time in on the volunteer sheet. But
Yeah.
if you, I am putting my time in, but it's not showing up on your pivot table to the right.
Oh, yeah, that's
have
because
to
I have to
update.
run that. I just have to, that's something I compile and access. So if we go to IMLS restoration here, go to this one. Yeah, so if we go to volunteer hours, let's see,
On the right side, there's no total for me, or there's a few other people that I was looking at here that aren't showing up. So
yeah, I need to update that one. That
Yep.
this is a query that I ran in Access, and it doesn't automatically tally. So I can see like you're all the way down. Yeah, there you are, Steve. Yeah,
Yep.
I'll run a tally on that and then update it. That's something I have to do in Access, manually. It's not I don't have formulas to do that.
Okay.
But given the
And
end of the year, it'd be fun to compile that.
I have one other crazy question. You have there are some units that have multiple features, and someone had asked a question in Slack about that. How do you put in the multiple features? Do you put in a feature? I don't know what the how to word the question, but
I think what you do in that case is, do you have an example of one?
2080 2080.
Okay, let's see. Let's see if this is, yeah, Southwest Yard. And this one, let's see the Harris matrix here. Yeah, so this one has, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4 features. And let's see, so D is part of 1127, the well trench. And then it looks like some of these others might have been features that were noted but not excavated. So in this case, we'd have to poke through the records, but I think the only feature that was excavated was 1127, and the only time even whether you have a layer that goes all the way across the unit or you're excavating a feature, during these seasons, every single layer gets its own alphabetic character, whether it's a feature or not. So in some cases, like if we look at F1126, F1126, it looks like that was excavated as stratum A, but let's see, artifact. Yeah, it has an opening and a closing. So, and then it says see attached drawing. So for this one to figure out where it is, oh Lord, you'd have to go through and find the drawing. Let me see. So here is, A is not here. This is not very convenient that they've got.
Can you click on the A card, the
Yeah,
card for Stratamate? Because I'm not sure if this is the question, but I've run across it maybe once or twice where the stratum, like an A, will reference two different features, and that feature go up to the top.
yeah.
At the top of it, where it says it references a feature. Well, I've seen situations where there's two there. So what do you put when you digitize? I think I put the first one in, and then maybe down in the comments I added the second one.
That,
And I think I had one similar to that, and I actually put in A twice. I think I put two,
Oh, you
two
put two
cards.
different cards in?
Yes.
See, this is 2014 and 2080A. And then this one up here, this is a feature card. And it looks like this was excavated, like A was excavated. Let's see where A was excavated. Because what you have is the ones that are up here are actually feature cards like these that have these numbers. These aren't unit stratum cards, so you don't fill these out. These right here are feature cards that if you do fill them out, it's no problem. But they're different front. You're probably gonna have a hard time filling these out because these are the fields you're using over here, and see how that's crossed out. It's a feature card. This was not a very good system. I never liked this because it should be designated differently. But this is actually a feature card and not a unit stratum card. What you all are digitizing in are unit stratum cards, which is on this side. This is all, these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. These are the ones you're entering in. And then this should actually be crossed out because that's where, if it's a feature card, these are the variables that are used. Does that make
Will the
sense?
feature card show up in the Google sheet though?
Feature
I can't
card,
remember.
feature
They're often
card,
listed. They're listed.
it's not listed, yeah.
Well, they
Feature-
are listed sometimes.
They are listed, I think.
Yeah, sometimes you'll find a feature card listed or feature number listed.
in the Google sheet. Yeah, sometimes it will be listed, but if it's excavated and there's samples taken from it, it's almost always there's a letter instead of along with the feature number. But
So if there is, mhm. If there is a feature number there in the Google sheet, should we just put a note in that we did not digitize that one?
yeah,
We could put a digitized note saying, this, well, we didn't digitize it if that's the case.
yeah, let me see this one.
Does that make sense? Or
I know what you mean. Yeah, this one actually has an artifact associated with it. And so this one probably does have this one's pretty confusing. This one, basically, when this part is crossed out right here, this is not a unit stratum card, it's a feature card. And some of this is explained in the field manual and the recording manual for the season. But the cards you want to be filling out are the ones that have letters associated with them. So these down here that are 2080A, B, C, D, D2, all these guys. And the ones that are up here are different. They're different cards that we're going to digitize at a different time, the feature cards.
But shouldn't that be labeled differently?
How do you mean
Shouldn't
that?
it MT2080._F1126A, and then I thought we were supposed to do, I gotta find it, feature summary.
Yeah, that would be.
I thought that's what the label should be.
Yeah,
And then we don't digitize those cards.
Yeah, this one, you're absolutely right. This one should be 10267A, and then
No,
feature
isn't
summary.
there something else that isn't there? Is there something, a feature summary totally different from, that's like a regular card when you see that, with that.
Yeah, it's F summary. It's not
It's
featured. It's not spelled out. Feature's not spelled out.
No, but I'm saying, but
But you think it's different?
But the thing is, that's for a card, and I thought, I think I remembered that there's this another piece of paper that is totally different. So it's like the summary, except it says feature summary, totally
Right.
different.
Yeah, that's
But
true.
this,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
that what you're looking at there is the same as if it would be A, B, C, or D, except it has the feature number on it. You know,
Yeah,
it's
and-
not, so that's what we have been labeling them as whatever the feature is on that, like, you know, it's not like it's anything solely a summary thing.
Yeah.
know.
Have you found any feature summary cards in Southwest Yard?
But we have the regular summary cards, but I seem to recall that there was another one and it was different, that it said feature summary on it, but that it could have been and
Previous
any.
seasons. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I can't remember, but I'm saying that isn't what we're looking at, that you're looking to change, but that to me is just a regular card form. That is the card form, and what it's the card for is the feature, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. Technically, this card right here is for the feature, and what it describes is the cut. It describes the shape of the feature, not the excavation of the feature. So this is filled out once the feature is already excavated, and it's being described like that it's subrectangular. It's describing the shape of it and then the depth and how thick it was.
But
And
what Kathy's saying is up in the left-hand corner, right under arbitrary stratigraphic, we usually see feature. What does it say, Kathy? Is it feature summary or feature?
But I think it's a totally different
Does it
form.
look completely
It's a
different?
different
I don't
form,
remember.
yeah.
It's more like the summary form for like a stratum. It's something else that it's just recalling is that's totally different when we, it just.
This one we
Card
have here is a strata, it's a strata card, strata
Right.
form, but somebody's using it as a feature form,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And
So
right? So,
we probably need a whole nother category for this one, which is feature form. And then it wouldn't be entered as a stratum form.
Right.
hmm.
Well, it's just over the years we always would write up these, because even on the digitized form, and I mean, there's the field for where you put the feature in, the feature number, so in all
Yeah.
the thousands of files we've done, we've always done that.
What have you all
That's right.
entered these forms?
Yeah, we've always put in a feature form if there was, at least I have.
If it's a card, it's a card, it's a card.
Oh,
A
yeah,
card is a card.
but did you digitize it?
Yeah, because yes, I'm trying to get my digitized things here. I swear we've been doing this, but after a
Okay.
while. Yeah,
Yeah.
There was a cutoff though. There was some years where you did the features and you did treat them as cards.
Yeah, there were years that when a feature was excavated, it was given a feature number and then a little letter. And then we changed it to have everything have a letter. And it gets confusing because this is not a stratum card, because it's not describing the soil and what was excavated and the color and the texture of the soil. It's describing a feature after the feature has been excavated.
Well, it's a stratum card that's being used to describe a feature. I mean,
Yeah, it's a stratum card that's being used to
but
describe
it's the
the
same
feature.
old card there,
Mhm. So I'll leave this as a card, and this I'll leave it as it is, and this one is I mean, that's probably what we'll do, is anything that has the feature number on it, like this one right here. This is another feature card, even though it says
Mhm.
2080 A, it's
Mhm.
feature 1126 is the feature card. And so this wouldn't be digitized in because there's nothing really to digitize in on this,
Mhm.
because you don't,
You have
it's
a lot
all,
of blanks. You'd have a lot of blanks.
you have a
on your
lot of
form.
blanks, exactly. Yeah.
Oh,
And you'd have a lot of stuff in notes.
Yeah, you'd have nothing, yeah, all this, I don't know where you
Yes,
put all this
or
stuff
wherever
right
you're
here.
gonna put this stuff.
Like this is all shape and plan, corners, dimensions, like these numbers right here are all these guys right here. And that's why this is all crossed out on this side. So basically the forms that are the stratum forms, when this side is being used, it's a stratum form. When this side is being used, it's a feature form. Does that make sense?
Mhm.
Mhm. When the right side is being used, it's which side is which now? Again, I
When-
can't see it, so.
Oh, when the right side is being used, when it's like number one here is subrectangular, that's the shape and plan.
yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, shoot.
Oops, your battery is running
Yeah.
low.
I don't have my, let's see if this will, okay. Hopefully I don't lose you all. Yeah, so this is a feature form right here because what the fields that are being filled out are shape and plan. The corners are somewhat square corners, slightly rounded. Number three, dimensions is like north south is 1.4, east west is 1.7. But then if you look at stratum A, the stratum A form down here, this one,
Mhm.
these are all
Yeah,
being,
that's,
number
Right.
one is relationship below O sod above
Yeah,
B
that's it.
cultural layer. Two, compaction is firm. Three, color is 5-point wire 3/4. So these fields right here are being used to fill this out. And so this is a stratum form, where the others are feature forms.
so would the solution to this be when we see a stratum form being used to describe a feature, should we just put a note in the Google Sheet that we didn't digitize that?
That would
Because
probably be best. That would be best. Yeah.
is that acceptable to do that? Would that be acceptable to do that?
That would be
Yeah.
very acceptable to do that because basically to fill out the feature form, you'd need a whole
Mhm.
different form.
Yeah,
You
and we
need a whole
don't
different form. You
have
don't have
that
any of
form.
don't have
in
any of
our-
these variables, fields to
Yeah,
fill out.
we don't have that form on our map,
Yeah, exactly. I don't have that form on your map on the map.
on the map.
Mhm.
at the
And then
moment.
how should it be labeled
I
from a
think
labeling standpoint?
how it will be labeled is like these have the stratum letter like A, B, C, but these
Mhm.
up here have a feature number. Like for example, this one right here is F1126 CA. So that's a feature card.
Right. And that's what's on the handout, that for doing a feature sheet would be that, the underscore F and the number kind of thing, okay?
Yeah.
From that, now maybe it's the 2014 and earlier ones that was totally different, that we had a lot more features, but we would put them in. But the thing is, and my note is that for the summary, we did the same thing, underscore F, the number, and then F summary. So there is a different form
Mhm.
Yeah,
that would come out
you're
from
right.
there.
You're right, Kathy. I forgot about that. There is a different form. And this
Again,
one
that might
is,
yeah,
this one's a feature card.
right,
And so it takes care of itself with that by it because it has the feature number right there.
yes. Because it's still a CA, it's still a CA card.
It's
according
exactly,
to-
it's still a CA card. Yeah, there's a lot of nuance in this. And appreciate you all being so patient with all this. And
Yes.
it's never a neat fit between going from paperwork to digitizing it, especially in trying to have all this fit into the same
Mhm.
form can be, makes it a real challenge at times.
Mhm. Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we're putting 20 years of data into one system. And in those 20 years, there's probably like 6 different systems that were used for, and for like you all, Dean, Kathy, and Beth, you've seen from the little cards to the big forms. So it
Right.
goes from one card to like 5 different forms.
And these later ones are easier to read and to do than the older cards.
Yeah. And there's a lot more information on them, which is good and bad. mean,
Yes, there is.
the crew started to rebel in 2006 because they wanted to have a bigger form to put all this data in. So,
For example, the numbers of the photographs are on the newer forms.
yeah.
And that's very useful to have when you're relabeling, you know, when you have the when you have the photo number. After the photo number goes away, then it's less useful, at least from my standpoint, but it's still good data because you can go back and find it.
Yeah, so Steve, to answer your question, thanks for hanging in there. This one right here, feature 1126, feature 1127, you would not digitize these. They've been relabeled, and that's all that needs to happen.
Okay.
Does that
We
make
like
sense,
that.
Steve?
Yes.
All right, thank you for bringing that up, Steve, because that's something that is a point of clarity that would really needed to have.
I thought I was the only one confused, but I think I confused everybody.
You confused me too, because I was sitting here scratching my head for a couple of minutes. So thank you, Steve. You win the prize on that one. Well, does anyone have a question to top Steve's? Because that was a good one.
I hope not.
Okay. We move the floor to you, Steve.
Oh, well.
Well, so you all know I'm going to be around, well, tomorrow, and then next week and a little bit of the week after I'm going to be down in Florida, but I'll probably be checking in on Slack.
Well,
And Steve, have you gotten onto Slack?
Yes. Yep.
Okay, all right, good deal. And if you have questions, Steve, you can ask them there as well, and we'll chip in and answer them. But that was a good question. Thank you.
yeah. That makes sense.
Well, also getting ready to send out an email probably on Saturday morning, talking about all the programs that we have in the 2024 season. It's been a slow start to get these out because of various things that have been happening at Montpelier. But the lab program this year, we're going to be looking at the data from the artifacts from the overseer site and going to be using the questions that we crowdsourced through the Google form to really organize what kind of analysis we're going to be doing. And then we've got a couple of different programs. We're going to do since we're excavating in the slave burial ground and the burial ground for the Montpelier enslaved community this next year. One of the first programs we're going to be doing in early April is looking at the trees, do archaeology, but then also do tree identification with a master naturalist a couple of afternoons. And then the one that is the expedition program in late April, we're going to be running that as an archaeology, 2 days of archaeology and then 3 days of cooking with drone bias. And we're going to have an open house on that Saturday where the descendant community is going to come out. So really excited about that one. So we got some different programs that I'll send an email out to everybody for. So, but well, good seeing you all. Y'all look great, and hope you all have a happy holidays. And again, we'll see each other in Slack. And if you have any questions, let me know. Is anything else that you want to talk about? All right, sounds good. What's that, Kathy?
I was gonna say happy holidays.
Oh, thanks, Kathy.
Yeah.
All
Happy
right.
holidays.
Same to everyone.
Yes.
Happy holidays.
All right. Bye, you all.
Bye.
Take
Bye.
care. Bye.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.